Hello and welcome to another update video about Chainlink. The Chainlink chart is still hovering just below this next key structural resistance area here at around $18.10, $18.20. Similar to the Solana chart, we can see three waves up off the low. Okay, Solana is embedded in a completely different structure overall, so the context is completely different, but you see it on many charts at the moment that many charts are only just now in the process of completing a third wave. If that's the case, this could also simply be an ABC structure or something, which might lead to another low. So again, as always, to have really a high probability setup for further continuation higher, we want to see the 5 waves followed by a 3-wave pullback. But for now, the Chainlink price continues to extend higher. That was the expectation, to get another high above $11.80. Yeah, one more high was anticipated for a nice third wave in an overall leading diagonal in wave 1. That's currently my base case, at least short term. Could also be embedded in another bearish structure, which will eventually lead to another low. But for now, as long as support levels are holding, we are focused on higher. Okay, we've been talking about that for the last 3 weeks or so, that we focus on higher across the market until support levels break, because we don't want to stand in the way of such a trend. Very, very important. So we have our wave 1 that probably completed here around the 20th of July. Then we came down in a wave 2. The wave 1 is a 3-wave move. It's an ABC structure. Yeah, it's well, a wave here. So let me just, because a few people asked me. So it's not an impulse, okay? This is not an impulse, but you can count it as an ABC. So we have an A wave, which topped here on the 25th of June, B wave down, and then the C wave up in 5 waves and an ending diagonal. So that would be a wave 1. Then we had a wave 2 down, and the wave 3 is very clearly a 3-wave structure. Just again, that all works well with the wave 1, because if this is supposed to be an overall 5-wave move and the wave 1 is a 3-wave move, then the third wave also has to be a 3-wave move. That's the part of the diagonal structures. In any diagonal, we have, well, not in any diagonal, but in 90%, I would say 95% of diagonals, we have an ABC structure in wave 1, we have an ABC structure in wave 2, we have an A, B, C structure in wave 3, as it's typical for crypto. The third wave is extending. Then we have the 4th wave is an ABC, and the 5th wave needs to be an ABC as well. So that's sort of the ideal structure for a diagonal. Some people say leading diagonals can also have 5 waves in wave 1, 5 waves in wave 3, 5 waves in wave 5. That's true. Only leading diagonals, which this one is, but only in the rarest of cases. And as you can clearly see here, this move up initially is not an impulse, so has to be an ABC. So it just all adds up to the idea that this is part of a larger corrective structure. Okay, so if the first move up here within wave 3 has 3 waves, it has to be an A wave. It's just what it is. So that's why we are watching here now for a potential pullback that could start. Now that we've got these 5 waves in wave C of 3, can still extend a little higher, no problem. There's currently no signal of a pullback in wave 4. What I will do now, I think we've moved a little higher, so what I do, all the time, we're just going to move up support. That will give us a an updated support level in case we get the pullback. So it tells us what is currently the level that I have to expect if we get a deep pullback for wave 4, and it's $9.75. Doesn't mean the price has to come down to that region in a wave 4 pullback, but it's support. The highest probability area for a wave 4 is this area. If the wave 3 tops now, then the wave 4 should move into the region between $9.75 and $12.88. With the $11 level in between. Yeah, don't forget the $11.80 level, which was previous resistance, which is the 50% retracement level of the move to the downside. So what I want to do is give you the parameters here for a pullback if it starts. There's currently no indication it has started. What you can do is, first of all, to track this with a trend line. Yeah, You can do that by tracking it with a trend line. So if that trend line breaks, it might be an early indication that this fourth wave, circle wave 4 starts. Break of the trend line alone won't be evidence, but it's an early indication. What else to highlight? Well, the next key resistance level is obviously up there around $18.20. So maybe it wants to get there. It's not much more movement needed to get there. You know, we talk about maybe another 15%. I mean, that sounds a lot, but in crypto, it's not much. Especially not given the fact that LINK actually basically more than tripled in price within a few months. And yeah, I think these are the key levels. Maybe it's worth exploring the next Fibonacci extension levels as well. Now that LINK has reached nearly the next Fibonacci, the next structural resistance level. So what we can do, we take the length of the wave 1, we go to the low of the wave 2, and then we can see that LINK has nearly reached here that $16.80 level. I think I talked about that in previous videos. It's the 200% Fibonacci extension. Okay. Above that, we have the 2.382. Let me just add that as well. That's at $20.66. It would be a massively extended wave 5 though if we get there. But I would not rule out that if we break above 16.82, that we also reach the $18.10, $18.20 level. It would be just logical to assume that, as long as we're holding that trend line anyway. So the trend is not broken. We don't want to stand in the way of such a trend. But what we will do, we are going to track support along the way. And then if the deeper pullback shows which is due, yeah, actually on LINK it's now overdue because we've reached already the 200% extension, which is not uncommon for a third wave in a diagonal in crypto, but it means that a fourth wave pullback is now overdue. So that's what we're watching also as next key levels. In addition to that, we can also watch for the Fibonacci extensions just within the third wave. And we take the length of the A wave, we go to the low of the B wave. And also here you can see that this C wave is massively extended. $16.90, here is the 2.382 extension. That's pretty much overlapping with that Fib level on the with the other measurement, okay? So yeah, also here we've got the 2.618 extension, basically where that green structural resistance level is. So yeah, that's my update about LINK at the moment. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.